gonna be nice for a few minutes, and this is certainly something I don't do very often, and no, it's not gonna be the YouTube order who can go fuck himself. Obviously, since this game released, criticism is pretty much spot on. There's not much to do, repetitive missions, no story, semi-open world that really isn't open, and all that other good shit. And there are some decent things that Destiny actually did right. The biggest piece of Destiny that they absolutely nailed was the raid. Unquestionably, this is some masterful video game making. Without any hesitation, I will say this is one of the best adventures you can take in a video game with friends. Period. End of discussion. Regardless of what co-op portions other games have created, whether it's Portal, whether it's Grand Theft Auto, Resistance, Mass Effect 3, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, there are very few games that manage to capture the amount of teamwork required to beat a task in a game like this. From the start of the Vault of Glass to the end, Bungie got this one right. And that only makes this game even more frustrating how they managed to do this right, but everything else wrong. Now look, there are games that added co-op portions that either forced you into teamwork or made it optional. Resistance 2 attempted to force teamwork where a soldier always needed ammo from a Spec Ops player, Spec Ops needed health, and the medic needed the others to kill shit, otherwise he'd be there for 3 fucking hours trying to do it. Doesn't compare to the Vault of Glass. Mass Effect 3 did a simple yet magnificent horde mode with 11 waves of enemies. You could either work as a team to combine all your powers together like Voltron and shit, or attempt to play as 4 solo individuals in order to beat all the rounds. That too doesn't compare to the Vault of Glass. Bungie does something very simple with the raid that makes teamwork required. It throws multiple objectives at you at one time, splitting up your team in order to accomplish those objectives. At very few points in this game are 6 people wailing on an enemy just to kill them. It's nothing like the strike missions we have in which bosses are just bullet sponges and enemies come out in non-stop waves. So don't get me wrong, you get waves of enemies here. You get non-stop waves of enemies. But the brilliant design of the raid keeps those enemies from coming in all different directions. This is by design, and it's an excellent design. And you have to give Bungie credit for creating quite possibly one of the best co-op experiences you can possibly have. It's just a damn shame that all of these elements are not present in other parts of the game. I mean, just look at pieces of the raid itself. To open the Vault of Glass, you need to start with the 3 sync plates and defend them from Praetorians. The team needs to split up and continuously communicate when a major enemy has spawned into the room. You need people to be flexible and kill things quickly, and the only way you're going to open up the vault is if you manage to get everyone on the same page, taking out shit as quick as possible. Then you get the Templar fight that throws all kinds of shit at you. Tower defense, hide and go seek. Ah, those fucking oracles, man. You get insta-kill if you step in those green boogers or whatever the fuck that shit is and you don't clean it off, and Templar throws out that power, whatever the fuck, man. And finally, a competent motherfucker has to grab the relic to try and take Templar's shield down. So the numerous steps to beating him and the constant communication between the team is absolutely necessary. We don't find this in any other part of this game. After you get through that, you have the Gorgon Maze, the only stealth portion of the game. Another fucking thing Bungie semi-sort of lied about. They said there will be stealth missions in the game, and sure enough, there are no stealth missions at all. This is the only part of the game where you avoid an enemy and it's a fucking flying cockroach or whatever this stupid shit is, man. Don't get me wrong, I like that it's in the Vault of Glass, but once again, it's not in the rest of the game and it shows somebody fucked up somewhere. The step puzzle is definitely pretty cool. Obviously, once you get the pattern down, you can finish that in like 30 seconds or whatever the fuck. And finally, Atheon, and this is where teamwork really comes in hand. I mean, because after you beat all the initial parts of opening the gate, protecting the center tower, you get to fight Atheon, who splits up your party constantly, which again requires actual teamwork. The Atheon fight itself isn't hard, but the team split in specific roles you must play to beat them is probably the most teamwork required in this entire game. And it pretty much sums up what Destiny could have been. At no point do we deploy the Ghost in the raid. At no point does Dinklebot scan something for us, because the raid was designed without needing that stupid motherfucker. I don't know why or how pieces of the raid didn't make its way into the campaign or design of everything else, but it really shows the horrible balance that we have. The raid magnifies how bad the campaign was, and the campaign magnifies how excellent the raid actually is. But unfortunately, it requires a party and to be level 26 to enjoy the best parts of the game. Personally, I think Bungie hit this one out of the park when it comes to the content, but the design of it shows that everything else in this game is completely flawed. Even as good as the raid is, I'm not paying $20 per DLC just for another raid. I don't fucking think so, man. I don't want to do more monotonous and repetitive story missions. I don't want extra guns or armors that randomly come to me because I'm having so much trouble with this fucking random generated shit to begin with. I want more content like this, but I'm not about to pay the exorbitant price for it. I know that they're going to have that Moon DLC and they're going to have that Pits of Chains raid or whatever the fuck it is where you take on Crota, but let's just be honest. Is this worth $20 just to play? I don't fucking think so. I'm not paying $20 for one decent fucking mission And we're not even guaranteed that the Pit of Change raid is going to be as good as the Vault of Glass. I don't know who at Bungie is responsible for the raid design, but in all honesty, they need to take over for the entire game design. They nailed it. They got shit right. Everyone else totally fucked it up. This shit is brilliant. The rest of the game is a bunch of crap. So Bungie, please, whoever designed the raid, please make them in charge of the rest of the game, because they absolutely killed it when it came to putting content on this disc. The rest of those motherfuckers could all get fired. Send them over to one of the Call of Duty developers, man. Then they'll make their games better and shit like that. Anyways, this is one of the few times that I'll actually praise this game, because the raid is definitely worthy of praise. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you guys in the next video.